This is Suzanne Wagner. Thank you for joining me for the daily Numerology and Astrology. This one happens to be for October 6, 2020. If you add all those numbers together, you get the number 11. The number 11 is called the Leonardo da Vinci number. It's a synthesizer of information, but to be able to synthesize various information or diverse information, you have to be able to pull all the threads and all the tools from all the different areas and somehow be able to blend them and bring them together. And so it's a process of expanded mind or higher mind, being able to integrate the many filaments and fragments of lower mind. So, today, expand your mind and allow for new ways to perceive. On a global level, our consciousness is clearly expanding. I hope that our compassion is going to expand in the same amount and grow with it. When you move with both cognitive knowing from the place of presence and conscious intention, and with deep, abiding compassion for all life, that to me is where you will make the best choices and decisions. This number is also about learning to listen when there is new and important information coming through that needs to be fully integrated. We cannot really learn if you are gauging everything coming in as a comparison to what you already know. Higher mind is not about getting validation for what you already know. It's about expanding your knowledge base and learning and recognizing that many people live in different perceptual bubbles. And so, where does their bubble and your bubble overlap? And where does their bubble completely is divergent from yours in some way? So, it's pretty obvious that it is time that we begin to understand that we just don't know all the information. I mean, we live in this time where there is so much vast, deep knowledge from the select individuals that have been studying this their whole lives. And from that place, the best we can do is listen to their summary and take that as the best information that they can offer at this time. There will always be more to learn. That is why we are all here. Never assume you are so smart that you have it all figured out, because your vantage point slants perspective. So when I was married to my computer programmer, engineer, developer husband, I tried to explain it to him like this, that if I started studying computers like tomorrow and I studied every single day for 12 hours a day for the rest of my life, I would never be as good at computers as he is. And if he studied intuition and psychic ability and meditation and stuff like that, he studied every single day and meditated 12 hours a day, he would not be as psychic as I am, because we've each specialized in different things. And so to me, part of knowledge is really recognizing what is your specialty, and recognizing that you don't have to be intelligent in absolutely every area. I mean, it's just impossible to do that. But you do need to learn to listen. When somebody is an expert in a field, what their expertise is telling them. And that to me is what is so shocking and atrocious right now, is that you've got doctors and scientists and people telling you direct things, but because it goes against your status quo or it goes against your slants or your biases, that, it's completely invalid. And that's insane. I mean, that's crazy people. So you can't do that. You can't survive like that. No culture could survive like that. So it's important for us to recognize that our vantage point slants the perspective. The astrology today is pretty straightforward and simple. There's nothing really shocking. I mean, Mars is still retrograde and it's in Aries and it's crunchy and it's giving everybody not quite enough energy and oomph to kind of get going. We're in the shadow of a Mercury retrograde that's going to be showing up in about a week, and so I'm already experiencing miscommunications. Like, I was supposed to get this new bed, and they said it was supposed to show up today, and it showed up on the 2nd, and I wasn't even here, and it was but nobody had notified me, and it's Mercury retrograde. So you might be feeling, if you have a profound Gemini or Virgo aspects in your chart, you might be noticing some of this weird stuff. But, really the only significant thing that is impacting is the moon. And the moon goes into talkative and curious Gemini. And it goes in like just past midnight. And so you will want to explore things that stimulate your mind and help you reach out and connect in a way that is satisfying. You feel more logical and reasonable in this moment. Again, all these moments are temporary, and it will be short-lived, but I'm going to take it as long as I can get it in this particularly chaotic time. So at the moment, it seems possible. I wish for a moment to open us to the wonder and of diversity, and I want to embrace the fabulous variety of our world and allow our curiosity to explore new ways to believe and to understand in this reality. Some may feel scattered under this aspect, but there are new expressions and ideas coming forward. Under this astrology, don't believe anything that comes out of the politicians for the next few weeks. Just like la 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 la, just like don't listen. It's not even true. Nothing's going to be real. So, okay, so needless to say, my quote for today is, guess what? Any vantage point slants perspective. Right? Welcome to the world of duality. The moment you hold a position, you have one angle or perspective or vantage point. It's just the way it goes. Okay, my blog for today. Get ready to dive into a little Buddhism here. Okay, so I would love for humanity to simply embrace that each of us alive on this gorgeous planet are a work in progress. We are here to change our mind, expand our heart, learn to love things that we judge, care for those that need the most help, contribute to our society in ways that are innovative, environmental, and progressive. We are here to learn and work towards making a better world. To me, it's as simple as that. You cannot make a better world if you turn a blind eye to suffering. You cannot make a better world if you will not change. You cannot make a better world if you refuse to learn. You cannot make a better world if you judge others. You cannot make a better world if you will not help those in need. If you live and breathe in this world and do not do anything to improve this world or the lives in this world, then what are you doing here? As the Buddhists say, getting a very precious human life is rare and nothing to squander. If you do not appreciate and help when you are in a powerful position of having this human life, then the next life you will drop back down into the lower levels of life, back down into the mains of dukkha, or suffering. In Buddhism, suffering does not necessarily mean grave physical pain, but rather the mental suffering that we undergo when our tendency to hold on to pleasure or our old reality encounters the fleeting nature and real life. From there, it turns our experiences into something unsatisfying, and we become ungovernable. Does this sound familiar to anybody? Okay. Once a soul understands that most knowing is impermanent, ungraspable, and not really knowable, only then do you realize that what we believe we see, we are not really able to completely perceive. We think that we know, but in reality, we cannot truly know because we live in the basic human reality. We are actually living in the gap between reality and our experiences of basic anxiety and frustration that cloud our perception. The word dukkha in Buddhism has many complex meanings in English. It goes from least to worst. And so, in certain languages, we have one word, they have 40 words, it's just crazy. Anyway, so this word can mean faint unsettledness, irritation, impatience, annoyance, frustration, disappointment, dissatisfaction, aggravation, tension, stress, anxiety, vexation, pain, desperation, sorrow, sadness, suffering, misery, agony, and anguish. While the first kind of suffering everyone thinks is physical, it is really the emotional suffering that usually gets people down in ways that they seem to not be able to find their way out of. Especially now in this moment in history, I want to point this out because it is also the emotional suffering that arises when you become frustrated that things don't go your way, or upset about life's injustices, or worried about money or meeting other people's expectations. This type of suffering is caused by the fact that life is constantly changing. Doesn't it often seem as though the moment you have found happiness in life, it sort of disappears almost at once? In truth, no moment is reliable because the next moment is always coming along fast on its heels. Our reality is like a constant bombardment of change, undermining every state of perceived happiness. The mind never finds a place to sit back and enjoy life without fear. Furthermore, every day, even during these pleasant moments, do you experience an underlying sense of unease about the future? This worry and anxiety is a manifestation of the third type of suffering that Buddha identified. He believed that life's inherent dissatisfaction is due to the nature of life's intrinsic instability. Dukkha is produced not by things themselves or by their insubstantial nature. Rather, our mind has been conditioned by ignorance into thinking that eternal happiness can be obtained through things that are ephemeral and transcendent. That last bit was by a Rinpoche, Tragleg Kai Bong Gabong. I cannot say these Tibetan names. I deeply apologize. So, suffering is a signal that we are not paying attention to something in the reality. There you go. Your lesson in Buddhism for today. All right. Thank you so much for listening. You guys have a great day.